Prime Minister's speech at the Conservative Party. During that speech, Rishi Sunak made... It's not me, I'm not doing it. During that speech, Rishi... It's gone off. Okay, I'll just shout. Slay the Tories. Microphone part 2. Okay, so during that speech, Rishi Sunak makes some transphobic remarks, including patients should know when hospitals are talking about men and women, and we shouldn't be bullied into believing people can be any sex they want to. They can't. A man is a man and a woman is a woman. That's just common sense. Funnily enough, that one got an applause. So that one got an applause. Now the thing is, common sense is something which you think you know to be true, but may not actually be true. Have you? Oh. And stand by your mic. So, it may not be true, but it's often used to reinforce prejudices. For example, white people are smarter than black people, which is common sense if you're a racist. During the conference week, the Health Secretary, Steve Barclay, stated that his intention to ban trans women from hospital wards, despite a series of Freedom of Information requests showing that there was not a single complaint about cis and trans women sharing wards. His pledge was supported by Home Secretary Suella Braverman, who told Sky News that trans women have no place in women's wards. Suella Braverman is what happens when you feed Priti Patel after midnight. If you've never seen the movie Gremlins, you won't get it. In recent weeks, she claimed that migrants lie about being gay to enter the country and stated that LGBTQ plus refugees facing persecution in their home is not sufficient to claim asylum in the UK. One of the people cheering Sunak's speech was Kimmy Badenoch, the Trade Secretary who somehow kept her foot in the door of the Equalities Ministry in order to propagate her religious bias against LGBT people, and trans people in particular. A few months ago, she wrote to the transphobic head of the Equalities and Human Rights Commission, because human rights, what do you think that's about? To ask how the government could change the Equalities Act in order to get sex protection category changed to biological sex, for no other reason than to make it legal to discriminate against trans people. Because this is the government that we've got and have had for several years, where the law is an impediment. You know, giving people human rights. How dare people have human rights? Following that applause, not that applause, Sunak's applause. So following that applause, he went on to say, "We were the party that legislated for same-sex marriage." He might as well be saying, you can't call us homophobic because I've got a grey friend. But here's the thing. The claim we legislated for same-sex marriage isn't true at all. I did a little research and crunched the numbers. That's the reason why I made a speech. So, first thing is, the Tories didn't even start the process. That was initiated by Lynn Featherstone, who was the Lib Dem Equalities Minister as a part of the Conservative Lib Dem coalition government of 2010. And when it came to the vote, 52% of Tories voted against it. 119 voted for it, 129 voted against it, 7 abstained. 51 Tory MPs didn't even bother to turn up. How's that for them representing their LGBT plus constituents? Not only that, a Conservative think tank has said that the Tories lost 35 to 40% of their membership due to the same-sex marriage bill. So they lost over a third of their membership over that one policy. The reality is, it was the overwhelming support of 93% of Labour and 91% of Lib Dems that made it happen, by 361 to 156, which was 70%. And the Tories do not have a good reputation on equalities legislation. Not only did they introduce Section 28, but in 2003, when the section was repealed, 76% of Tories voted to keep it. When it came to the Equalities Act of 2010, 100% of Tories voted against it. Admittedly, that was only 6 votes, because the other 247 Tory MPs didn't even bother to turn up. When it came to the Gender Recognition Act of 2004, 66% of Tories voted against it. Are you seeing a pattern? 20 voted in favour of it, 39 voted against, and the other 139 abstaining or didn't even bother to turn up. And then we got the proposal to ban conversion therapy, a practice the UN has described as torture. At first, the Tory leadership, particularly Theresa May, in which is possibly the only positive thing in their short leadership period, was in favour of banning it. But by the time that Boris got in, hair on my face again, by the time Boris got in, and his lurch towards hard right policies, the religious zealot lobbies had persuaded the then Equalities Minister, Liz the Lettuce Truss, to alter it on the basis of it'll be hard to discriminate against LGBT people if we're not allowed to torture them into not being gay. So the proposal was watered down into something that would only ban the practice for children and adults who can't consent, so learning difficulties, etc., etc., etc. So if an adult is religious and gay, his church will be allowed to seclude him and starve him and pressurise him into not being gay, and worse. And then came April last year, when it was leaked that the conversion therapy ban was going to be ditched. The following day, the government's like, no, we are banning it. We're just not banning it for trans people. Because apparently, there wasn't enough evidence to say whether torturing trans people was bad for their physical and mental health. As a little note on this, do you remember that little Twitter essay from J.K. Rowling? In it, she said, "I respect every trans person's right to live in a way that is authentic and comfortable to them," and then followed up with, "I would march with you if you were discriminated against on the basis of being trans." 10 days after being left off the conversion therapy ban, trans, non-binary and our wonderful allies protested outside the gates of Downing Street. And just up the road, on the same day, guess who was whining and dining with some of the most rabid transphobes in the UK, such as Julie Bindel,
Boo!
Kathleen Stock,
Boo!
Alison Bailey,
Boo!
Helen Joyce,
Boo!
and Maya Forstater.
Boo!
Yep, it was the patron saint of transphobes, J.K. Rowling. So for Sunak to claim his is the party of same-sex marriage, while at the same time making transphobia government policy, it's hypocrisy of the most disgusting type. And I've finished the speech now, but basically, I'm not going anywhere. I'm sure you're not going anywhere. And the government, despite their efforts, they're not going to make us go away either, are they?